Tonight, let's gently drift back in time, far away, to a world of stone streets, warm candlelight, and quiet Roman evenings. Our story is not about battles or emperors, it is about ordinary life, the soft, everyday moments of people living in ancient Rome. Imagine the city slowly settling into the evening, the fountains still flowing, the distant sound of footsteps on cobblestone, and the warm glow of lanterns lighting narrow streets. Now, let us begin our calm journey. Imagine you're standing at the edge of ancient Rome. It is late afternoon, and the air feels soft and warm. The sun is low in the sky, casting golden light across marble buildings. You are surrounded by quiet movement, people walking slowly, vendors finishing their day, families returning home. Rome is busy, but it is not rushed. Life here follows a steady rhythm, like a gentle heartbeat. Tonight, we will walk through this ancient city together, not as strangers, but as peaceful visitors, watching everyday life unfold. As the evening grows calm, let us take a slow walk into the streets of Rome. The streets of ancient Rome are made of stone. Under your feet, the road feels solid and worn smooth. These stones have carried countless footsteps over many years. On either side, tall buildings rise upward. Many of these are apartment homes called insulae. Families live inside them, stacked floor upon floor. At street level, small shops open wide doors. A baker places fresh bread on display. A potter arranges clay cups and bowls. A merchant speaks gently with a customer, counting coins slowly. The air is full of soft smells: warm bread, olive oil, herbs, a hint of smoke from cooking fires. Water flows through public fountains along the roads. Romans often stop here, filling jugs carefully, chatting in low voices. As you walk, you hear the calm sounds of daily life, the creak of wagon wheels, the murmur of conversation, the distant call of a street seller offering fruit. Everything feels steady, familiar, like a city breathing softly. And as the sun begins to sink, the streets slowly grow quieter. Lanterns flicker to life. Shadows stretch long across stone walls. Rome is preparing for the evening. Now let us wander toward the homes, because life in Rome depends very much on where you live. Some Romans live in grand houses called domus. These homes belong to wealthy families. Imagine stepping inside one. A doorway opens into a peaceful courtyard. In the center, there is a small pool collecting rainwater. The floor is covered in colorful mosaic tiles. The walls are painted with gardens, birds, and distant landscapes. The air smells of flowers and light incense. Servants walk quietly through hallways. Meals are prepared in back rooms. The family sits in shaded spaces, away from the busy streets. But most Romans live differently. Most live in apartment buildings, small rooms, crowded floors, shared stairways that echo with footsteps. Imagine a family cooking over a small fire, children resting on simple mats, neighbors close enough to hear one another speak through thin walls. Life here is simpler. No mosaics, no painted gardens. But still, life is full. Even in small spaces, Romans talk, laugh, eat, and dream. As the evening grows quieter, every home, rich or poor, begins to settle into stillness. Now, let us take a slow walk to the marketplace. The Roman Forum and nearby markets are full each day with food and trade. Imagine stalls piled high with figs, grapes, olives, and nuts. Fresh vegetables rest in baskets. Herbs hang in small bundles. Honey cakes are stacked carefully in neat rows. You might smell fish being prepared nearby, or hear the soft rustle of paper as goods are wrapped. Romans do not eat huge feasts every day. Most meals are simple. Bread is the most common food. Bread with olives, bread with cheese, bread dipped in watered wine. Some families make warm porridge called pulse. It is slow-cooked grain, simple and filling. The wealthy enjoy more variety: fish, meats, rich sauces, sweet fruits. But for most, A Roman meal is humble. In the evening, people eat slowly, talking softly, sharing what they have. And as candlelight flickers, the city begins to relax into the night. As morning comes each day, Romans work, and every person has a role in the city. Imagine craftsmen shaping metal with careful hands, tailors sewing tunics with steady stitches, builders stacking stone under the open sky. Some people work as scribes, writing neatly on scrolls. Others work in bathhouses, carrying water and cleaning pools. Merchants sell spices, cloth, pottery, and oil. And outside the city, farmers grow wheat, grapes, and olives. Rome depends on their quiet labor. Work here is steady, not rushed. The rhythm of the day feels predictable, and when evening arrives, tools are set down, shops begin to close, families return home. Rome softens into night again. One of the most peaceful parts of Roman life is the bathhouse. Imagine entering a large public bath. The air is warm with steam. The sound of water echoes softly. Marble floors feel cool beneath bare feet. People speak in low voices. Friends meet here. Neighbors relax here. There are pools of different temperatures. A cold plunge, a warm bath, a hot steam room. Bathing is not only about cleaning. It is about slowing down, resting the body, letting the day fade away. After bathing, Romans sit quietly. Some talk softly. Others simply enjoy silence. As the evening grows deeper, bathhouses close and people return home, calm and clean. Now, let us step gently into family life. Roman families are close. Homes are full of small routines and familiar sounds. Children play in courtyards. They roll hoops along the ground. They toss small balls. They play simple games with stones and sticks. Parents teach children tradition and respect. Some children go to school, learning letters and poetry. Others learn trades by watching their parents work. At night, families gather together, eating quietly, telling stories in soft voices. The household grows still as lamps dim. Children drift into sleep, and Rome, once loud, becomes soft. Romans believe gods are everywhere, in the home, in the streets, in the sky above. Everyday life includes small rituals. Imagine a family lighting incense at a home altar, a short prayer whispered gently into the air. Temples stand tall across the city. People visit calmly, offering flowers, wine, or bread. Religion is not dramatic. It is woven into daily rhythm, like breathing, like walking. As stars appear in the sky, Romans trust their gods to watch over the night. Rome also has entertainment, but most evenings are quiet. Some listen to music, some tell gentle stories. Some sit outside their doors, watching lantern light flicker. Yes, there are theaters and races, but ordinary life is simple. People stay close to home. They speak softly. They rest. The city slowly darkens. The sounds fade away. The fountains continue to flow. The stone streets cool under the night air. Let us continue our slow walk through ancient Rome. The city is calm now. Lanterns glow gently in doorways. The busiest streets have emptied, and only soft footsteps remain in the distance. Imagine you are still here, standing beneath the wide Roman sky. Above you, the stars shimmer faintly. Below you, the ancient stones hold the warmth of the day. Now, let us wander deeper into the quieter corners of Roman life. In Rome, evenings often belong to conversation. After long days of work, people gather with those they trust. Family members sit close together. Neighbors greet one another with familiar smiles. In small apartments, voices are low. Someone stirs the last coals in a cooking fire. A child curls beneath a blanket. A mother hums softly, rocking a baby to sleep. In wealthy homes, servants move quietly through halls. The family reclines in peaceful courtyards, enjoying the cooling air. A bowl of fruit sits nearby. Figs, grapes, perhaps a few dates. Rome is a city of many lives, layered together. And yet, at night, all lives become equally still. Now, let us take a gentle walk through the Roman streets once more. At night, the city looks different. Marble buildings glow pale under moonlight. Shadows stretch across columns and arches. The great forum, once crowded, is now silent. The temples stand tall, resting in darkness. Only the faint flicker of a torch remains at the edge of a doorway. Some Romans, especially the wealthy, do not walk alone at night. They may have a servant carrying a lantern, or companions beside them, but most people are already home, wrapped in sleep. Let us imagine a quiet Roman bedroom. The room is simple. A small oil lamp burns softly. A bed is made from wood, covered with cloth and blankets. The air smells faintly of olive oil and warm stone. Romans do not sleep on soft mattresses like today. Their beds are firm, simple, but after long days, rest comes easily. As you listen, you might hear distant sounds, a dog barking softly, the echo of footsteps far away, the gentle flow of water through the city. Rome never becomes completely silent, but it becomes peaceful. Now, let us explore another part of Roman life, the way Romans dressed and how clothing felt in their world. In ancient Rome, clothing is simple and practical. Most people wear tunics. A tunic is a loose garment, often made of wool or linen. It falls to the knees, tied at the waist with a belt. The fabric feels rougher than modern clothes, but it is strong, and it lasts.
Wealthy Romans wear finer fabrics. Their tunics may be softer, dyed in bright colors. They may wear cloaks draped carefully over the shoulders. And of course, there is the famous toga. The toga is heavy. It is made from wool, wrapped around the body in folds. Not everyone wears it each day. It is more formal, saved for important occasions. Women wear long dresses called stola. These are elegant, flowing garments, often worn with shawls, jewelry, or decorated pins. Children wear smaller tunics, simple and easy to move in. Clothing tells a story in Rome. It shows wealth, class, and tradition, but at the end of the day, everyone removes their garments and becomes simply human, ready for rest. Now, let us drift toward another gentle part of life, Roman mornings. Imagine the first light of dawn. Rome begins to wake slowly, not suddenly, not loudly. The sky turns pale pink. Cool air moves through streets. Bakers rise early, heating their ovens. The smell of bread begins again. Shopkeepers open wooden shutters. Animals stir in courtyards. Water carriers walk toward fountains, filling jugs carefully. The city stretches awake like a tired body. Romans often begin their day with a small breakfast, perhaps bread, perhaps fruit, maybe a sip of watered wine. Meals are not rushed. Everything feels steady. Now, let us explore Roman schools and learning. Education depends on wealth. Some children learn only at home. Parents teach them simple skills: how to count, how to help in work, how to respect elders. But wealthier families send children to teachers. Boys learn reading, writing, and rhetoric. They copy letters onto wax tablets. They memorize poetry. Girls may learn reading too, especially in educated families. But many girls learn household skills instead. Teachers are strict, but the work is calm. Children sit quietly, practicing lessons. Education is seen as a path to honor, to respect, to future responsibility. Now, let us walk gently into Roman art and beauty. Romans love decoration. Even ordinary homes may have small painted designs. Wealthy houses are full of art. Walls painted with gardens and landscapes. Floors filled with mosaics of tiny colored stones. Statues stand in courtyards. Fountains trickle softly. Beauty is part of daily life, not rushed, not loud, just present. Now, let us return again to the calmness of evening. As the sun sets, Rome slows, shadows grow long, the heat of the day fades, families gather again, meals are shared, oil lamps are lit. Outside, the city grows quieter. And once more, ancient Rome becomes a place of soft stillness. The fountains continue, the stars return, the streets cool beneath the night air. Imagine the city resting beneath the stars. The great stone buildings stand quietly. The streets, once full of movement, now feel like calm rivers of shadow. Somewhere in the distance, a lantern flickers, a door closes softly, and the ancient world settles into stillness once again. Now, let us walk slowly into another gentle part of Roman life. Let us imagine the role of community in Rome. Rome is not only a city of buildings, it is a city of people living close together. Neighbors know one another. Families share walls, courtyards, streets, and fountains. In the morning, greetings are exchanged. In the afternoon, conversations rise softly in marketplaces. And in the evening, people sit outside their homes, enjoying cooler air. Life here is shared. Even the simplest routines are part of something larger. Now, let us wander toward the Roman countryside. Beyond the busy city, wide fields stretch under open skies. This is where much of Rome's food begins. Imagine vineyards lined with grapevines, olive trees twisting gently in the breeze, farmers moving slowly through the soil. The countryside is quieter than the city. The air smells of earth and plants. Birds call softly in the distance. Farm life is simple, steady, and full of routine. Wheat is harvested for bread. Olives are pressed into oil. Grapes are turned into wine. These quiet labors feed the great city. Now, let us drift back toward Roman celebrations and festivals. Romans enjoy moments of joy even in calm life. Throughout the year, festivals honor gods and traditions. Imagine streets decorated with garlands, people wearing bright clothing, music playing gently in the background. Children watch processions pass by. Families share special foods. Festivals are lively, but they are also familiar. They happen each year, like seasons returning. And when celebrations end, Rome always returns to its steady rhythm. Now, let us explore Roman friendships and social life. Friendships matter deeply in Rome. People gather in bathhouses, forums, and homes. Some evenings, friends share bread and olives together. They talk softly about daily life, about work, about family, about small hopes. Romans enjoy companionship. Even in such a large city, personal bonds feel important. Now, let us take a gentle look at Roman travel. Rome is the heart of a vast empire. Roads stretch outward in all directions. Imagine stone pathways leading toward distant towns. Travelers walking with packs. Merchants guiding donkeys loaded with goods. Roman roads are strong and carefully built. They connect cities like threads across the land. Travel is slow. Journeys take days or weeks, but the roads make movement possible. And wherever Romans go, they bring their customs, language, and traditions with them. Now let us step into Roman evenings once more. As the sun lowers, the city cools. People return home from shops and streets. Fires are lit for cooking. Meals are eaten slowly. The rich may recline on couches, enjoying fruit and wine. The poor may eat bread and porridge by lamplight, but all share the same quiet end to the day. Now let us imagine the sounds of night again. A dog lies curled near a doorway. Somewhere water flows through aqueducts. An owl calls softly beyond the city. Rome is vast, yet in the night, it feels gentle. Now let us explore one more peaceful part of Roman life, the passing of time. Romans live close to nature's rhythm. They wake with sunrise. They rest when darkness comes. Days are marked by simple routines: work, meals, family, faith, sleep. Life is not hurried. It moves like a slow river. And in this steady flow, Romans find comfort. Now, imagine once more the city under moonlight. The temples stand silent. The forum rests empty. The fountains continue their endless song. The great empire feels distant. What remains is only ordinary life. Soft footsteps, warm homes, quiet breathing in the dark. Let us continue walking through the quiet world of ancient Rome. The city is resting now. Most doors are closed. Most voices have faded. Only the gentle sound of water and distant air remains. Imagine yourself still here, a peaceful traveler in a sleeping city. Now, let us explore another calm part of Roman life, the way Romans spent their time inside their homes. During quiet evenings, the home became the center of life. Families gathered close together. Oil lamps cast a warm, golden glow across walls. In wealthier homes, rooms were wide and airy. Courtyards opened to the sky. Fountains trickled softly in the center. In smaller homes, space was tighter. But even there, the feeling of togetherness remained. A mother might mend clothing by lamplight. A father might quietly repair a tool. Children might listen to stories, their eyes growing heavy with sleep. Romans did not have bright lights or loud distractions. Nighttime was naturally slow, calm, still. Now, let us drift toward Roman health and medicine. In ancient Rome, people cared for their bodies in simple ways. Bathing was important. Fresh air was valued. Herbs were used for healing. Doctors existed, especially in the city. Some were skilled, trained in Greek knowledge. Others relied on tradition and guesswork. Imagine small bundles of plants, mint for comfort, honey for wounds, garlic for strength. Medicine was gentle, basic, and often uncertain. Most Romans trusted time, rest, and routine. Now, let us step quietly into Roman sounds and music. Music was part of life, but not always grand. Sometimes a flute played softly in the background of a meal. Sometimes a harp echoed gently at a gathering. Children sang simple songs. Workers hummed as they labored. Music was another thread in Rome's daily rhythm. Not loud, not sharp, just present. Now, let us wander toward Roman writing and communication. Rome was a city of letters and messages. Important news traveled by messengers on horseback. Merchants kept records of trade. Officials wrote laws and orders. Most ordinary Romans could not read well, but writing still shaped the empire. Imagine a scribe sitting quietly at a desk, ink staining his fingers, carefully forming each letter on a scroll. The act of writing was slow and patient. Now, let us explore Roman evenings in the seasons. Rome changed with the year. In summer, nights were warm. Families sat outside longer, enjoying the breeze. In winter, evenings came early. People stayed indoors, close to small fires. Rain fell softly on rooftops. The streets shone dark beneath lantern light. No matter the season, life moved steadily, always returning to night, always returning to rest. Now let us take a slow walk past Roman temples once again. Even at night, temples felt alive in memory. Columns rose into darkness. Statues stood silent. Romans believed the gods watched over the city, not with fear, but with familiarity.
Faith was woven into everyday life, like a quiet background presence. Now, let us imagine Roman dreams. When Romans slept, they dreamed beneath the same stars. They dreamed of family, of work, of journeys. Perhaps a farmer dreamed of harvest. Perhaps a child dreamed of games. Perhaps a merchant dreamed of distant lands. Rome was vast, but dreams were personal, soft, human. Now let us return again to the heart of the city at night. The Forum lies empty. Shops are closed. Streets are quiet. Only a few travelers move through darkness. Lanterns sway gently as they walk. The fountains continue their endless flowing sound, like a lullaby for stone and marble. The city feels like a dream now. The streets are quiet. The marble buildings stand softly beneath the moon, and everything moves at the slow pace of nighttime. Imagine the cool air against your skin, the faint scent of stone and distant fires. Rome is resting, but life continues in its quiet way. Now let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life, the way Romans spent time together in public spaces. In Rome, people did not live only inside their homes. Much of life happened outside. During the day, the Forum was full of voices, but even in calmer moments, Romans enjoyed simply being near others. Imagine men sitting on stone benches, speaking slowly. Imagine women shopping together in small markets. Imagine children running gently through open squares. Rome was crowded, but it was also communal. People were always surrounded by life. Even silence felt shared. Now, let us drift into Roman gardens. We often imagine Rome as stone and marble, but there was greenery too. Wealthy homes had gardens filled with plants and fountains. Small trees offered shade. Flowers grew beside paths. Imagine walking through such a garden. The air smells sweet. The sound of trickling water calms the mind. Even in a busy city, Romans created small spaces of peace. Now, let us visit the Roman libraries and places of learning. Some Romans loved books and scrolls. Libraries held writings from Greece, Rome, and beyond. Imagine rows of scrolls stored carefully, a quiet room where scholars read by soft lamplight. Here, voices were hushed, thoughts were slow. Learning was seen as something noble, a calm pursuit of understanding. Now let us explore Roman crafts and handmade beauty. Rome was full of artisans, people who shaped the objects of daily life. Potters turned clay into bowls and cups. Weavers made cloth from wool. Jewelry makers shaped gold into delicate rings. Imagine a workshop in the afternoon. Sunlight enters through a small window. Hands work steadily, patiently. Craftsmanship was quiet, almost meditative. Each object carried the calm labor of its maker. Now let us step into Roman meals once more, but this time, let us imagine a special dinner. In wealthy homes, dinner could last long into the evening. Guests reclined on couches. Food was served in small portions, perhaps roasted fish, perhaps fruits and honey, perhaps warm bread with herbs. Wine was poured slowly, mixed with water. Conversation flowed gently. In poorer homes, dinner was simpler, but still meaningful. Bread, olives, a small dish of lentils. No matter the wealth, evening meals were moments of rest. Now, let us explore Roman storytelling. Romans loved stories, myths of gods, tales of heroes, legends of the city's beginnings. At night, parents told children these stories softly, not to frighten, but to teach and comfort. Stories connected Romans to their past. They made the world feel larger. Now, as the night grows quieter, let us return to the streets once more. Imagine walking beneath tall arches, past sleeping shops, past silent temples. The city is darker now. Lanterns are fewer. Only the moon remains as a gentle light above. In the distance, a guard stands watch. Not in tension, just in duty. Rome is protected. Rome is resting. Now let us think of the passing of generations. Rome is ancient, even to itself. Many have lived here before. Many will live here after. Children grow into adults. Adults grow old. Life continues like a slow river, and in every generation, there are the same small moments: bread being baked, water being carried, families gathering, voices fading into night. Now, imagine ancient Rome once more, completely still. The fountains sing quietly, the rooftops rest under moonlight, the streets hold no rush, no hurry, only calm remains. The city feels distant now, like a memory. The streets are calm, the air is cool, and the ancient stones seem to hold centuries of peaceful stories. Imagine yourself walking slowly, unhurried, with only the soft sound of fountains nearby. Now let us explore another gentle part of Roman life, the role of time and routine. Romans lived by the natural rhythm of the sun. They rose with morning light. They worked through the warm hours of day, and they rested when evening arrived. There were no bright screens, no loud machines, only the steady turning of day into night. Life felt slower, more connected to nature. Now let us step into the Roman morning once more. The sky brightens slowly, shutters open. The smell of bread returns again. People walk toward fountains carrying jugs. Shopkeepers sweep the dust from their doorways. Children begin to stir, rubbing sleep from their eyes. Rome wakes softly, like a gentle breath. Now, let us wander toward Roman markets again, but this time, let us focus on the small details. Imagine baskets filled with beans and lentils, jars of oil lined up in rows, spices from faraway lands smelling rich and warm. A seller weighs goods carefully. Coins clink softly into a hand. Everything is slow, personal, human. Now, let us explore Roman public water and aqueducts. Rome was a city shaped by water. Aqueducts carried fresh water from distant hills. They were great stone structures stretching across the land. Imagine water flowing quietly through these channels day and night, bringing life into the city. Fountains spilled water into basins. Bathhouses filled their pools. Homes received water for cooking and cleaning. The sound of water was always present, a gentle background music of Rome. Now, let us drift into Roman transportation. Most Romans walked everywhere. The streets belonged to feet more than wheels. But wagons existed too, carrying goods, delivering food, moving stone for building. Donkeys and horses pulled carts slowly through narrow roads. At night, the streets became quieter and wagons disappeared. Now let us explore Roman evenings by lamplight again. Oil lamps were small, simple objects, clay vessels filled with oil, holding a burning wick. Their light was soft and golden, not harsh, not bright. Shadows danced gently on the walls. Imagine a family sitting together under this warm glow, faces relaxed, voices low. Outside, the city fades into darkness. Now, let us think of Roman elders and aging. In Roman families, elders were respected. Grandparents often lived close by. Their wisdom was valued. Imagine an older Roman sitting quietly in a courtyard, listening to children play, feeling the evening breeze. Life moves slowly toward rest, not only each day, but across years. Now, let us step into Roman craftsmanship once again. Rome was full of handmade life. Sandals were stitched by cobblers. Furniture was carved by woodworkers. Roof tiles were shaped by potters. Nothing was fast. Everything took time. Each object carried the calm patience of its maker. Now, let us drift into Roman hopes and quiet thoughts. Even in such a great empire, most Romans lived simple lives. They hoped for health, for food, for family safety. They found comfort in routine, in community, in small pleasures, a warm bath, fresh bread, a cool breeze at sunset. Now the night grows deeper once more. Rome is quiet. The streets are empty. The temples rest in shadow. Somewhere, a lamp still burns in a window. A last voice murmurs inside a home, and then silence returns. The fountains continue their gentle song. The stars remain above. Everything feels slower now. The city is wrapped in quiet darkness. The marble streets lie still, and the soft air carries only the faintest sounds. Imagine you are walking beside tall stone walls, feeling the calm presence of history all around you. Now, let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life, the simple joys of ordinary people. Most Romans did not live in grand palaces. They lived in small apartments. They worked long days. They rested at night. And yet, they still found moments of happiness, a shared meal, a kind conversation, a festival day, a child's laughter. Life was made of these quiet pieces. Now, let us wander into Roman kitchens. Cooking in ancient Rome was simple. Most homes had small hearths or clay ovens. Imagine a pot hanging over a fire, soup simmering slowly, lentils cooking with herbs. The smell is warm and earthy. In wealthier homes, kitchens were busier. Servants prepared many dishes. Sauces were mixed with garlic and spices. But for most, food was humble. Bread, beans, fruit, and oil. Cooking was part of daily rhythm, a gentle act of care. Now let us drift into Roman clothing again in more detail. Romans dressed for practicality, tunics for daily life, cloaks for colder weather. Shoes were simple sandals tied with leather straps. Imagine walking along stone streets in sandals, feeling the coolness of the ground beneath. In winter, people wrapped themselves in heavier wool. In summer, linen felt lighter against the skin. Clothing was not about fashion alone. It was about function, about comfort. Now let us explore Roman pets and animals. Animals were part of daily life. Dogs guarded homes or wandered streets. Cats helped keep pests away. Donkeys carried goods. Horses pulled carts. In the countryside, sheep and goats grazed quietly. Imagine the gentle sound of hooves in the distance, or the quiet presence of a dog curled near a doorway at night. Animals shared the Roman world, calm and familiar. Now let us wander toward Roman marriages and family bonds. Marriage in Rome was both personal and practical. Families often arranged unions, but affection could grow over time. Weddings were celebrated with simple rituals, a gathering of relatives, shared food, quiet blessings. A bride wore a veil, a groom offered a ring, and then life continued, not with drama, but with steady routine. Now, let us step into Roman children's lives again. Children were everywhere in Rome, playing in streets, helping in shops, learning from parents. Toys were simple, wooden dolls, small balls. Hoops rolled along the ground. Childhood was filled with movement, laughter, and learning. And at night, children slept early. The city grew quieter. Now, let us drift toward Roman architecture. Rome was a city of stone and beauty. Arches rose high above streets, aqueducts stretched across valleys, temples stood with towering columns. Even ordinary buildings carried strength and order. Imagine walking beneath an archway at night. The stone cool above you, the sky open beyond. Rome felt eternal. Now, the night deepens again. The streets are nearly empty. Only the soft sound of water remains. A lamp flickers in the distance. A door closes gently. Let us continue our gentle walk through ancient Rome. The city feels far away now, as if it belongs to a dream. The streets are calm. The buildings stand like silent guardians of time, and the air is soft with stillness. Imagine the moonlight resting on marble columns, and the fountains whispering their endless song. Now, let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life, the way Romans understood time, memory, and tradition. Romans were surrounded by the presence of the past. Old temples stood beside new buildings. Ancient stories were told again and again. They believed their city was special, not only because of power, but because of heritage. Imagine a Roman elder speaking softly to a child, telling them about ancestors, about family names, about customs that must be carried forward. Tradition was like a thread connecting generations. Now let us wander toward Roman evening streets once more. At night, Rome was different from the day. The busy noise faded. The crowds disappeared. Stone roads reflected faint lantern light. Shadows moved gently against walls. Somewhere, a night watchman walked slowly, carrying a torch. Not in fear, but simply in duty. The city was large, but night made it feel smaller, more intimate. Now let us step quietly into Roman prayer and home rituals again. Many Roman homes had small shrines, little corners for household gods. Imagine a family lighting incense at dusk, a soft offering of bread or wine. The prayer is not loud, it is a whisper, a moment of calm. Religion in Rome was not always grand ceremonies. Often, it was quiet daily gestures. Now let us explore Roman leisure in the afternoons. When work was done, people rested. Some visited bathhouses. Some walked through markets. Some sat with friends in shaded courtyards. Imagine an old man sitting beneath an olive tree, watching the day pass slowly. Life did not always need to be busy. There were moments of pause. Now, let us drift into Roman crafts once again. The objects that filled everyday life. Clay lamps, wooden stools, simple plates, iron tools. Everything was made by hand. Each piece carried the quiet work of an artisan. Imagine a potter shaping clay on a wheel. The motion slow, steady, almost hypnotic. Rome was built not only by emperors, but by countless ordinary hands. Now let us wander to Roman letters and messages. News traveled slowly. Letters were carried across roads. Messages passed through many hands. Imagine someone receiving a letter at the door, breaking the seal carefully, reading words from a distant relative, in a world without instant communication. Every letter mattered. Every message felt personal. Now, let us explore Roman nights inside the insulae, the apartment buildings of ordinary people. These buildings were crowded. Many families lived close together. At night, the sounds blended softly. A baby crying briefly, someone speaking quietly, a cough behind a wall. Life was shared, privacy was rare, but community was close. And as sleep arrived, the whole building became still. Now let us step into Roman dreams once again. Dreams were mysterious to Romans. They believed dreams could carry meaning, messages from gods, echoes of thoughts.
Imagine a Roman child dreaming of festivals, a farmer dreaming of harvest, a mother dreaming of peace. Even in ancient times, dreams were soft and human. Now, the night grows deeper. Rome is almost silent. The streets are empty. The temples rest in shadow. Only the fountains continue, their gentle flow like a lullaby. Let us continue our slow walk through ancient Rome. The city feels wrapped in silence now. The streets are cool beneath your feet. The air is soft, and the ancient world seems to rest completely. Imagine yourself moving gently through this timeless place.
with no hurry, only calm presence. Now, let us explore another quiet part of Roman daily life, the way Romans spent their afternoons in simple routine. After the busiest hours of work, many Romans slowed down. The heat of midday often brought a natural pause. Shops closed their shutters for a while. Streets became quieter. People rested indoors, away from the sun. Imagine sitting in the shade of a courtyard, hearing only the faint sound of water, feeling the warm air drift by. Life did not always rush forward. There was space for stillness. Now, let us wander toward Roman food again. But this time, let us imagine the countryside bringing its gifts to the city. Each morning, carts arrived with produce, fresh fruits, olives, cheese, vegetables. Rome depended on these steady supplies. Imagine farmers waking before sunrise, harvesting quietly, loading their goods carefully. Their lives were humble but essential. Now, let us explore Roman festivals once again in a softer way. Even though festivals could be lively, they were also comforting. They returned each year like familiar seasons. People decorated homes with greenery, candles were lit, songs were sung, children felt excitement, adults felt tradition. And when the festival ended, Rome returned to calm routine. Now let us step gently into Roman love of stories and theater. Romans enjoyed performances. They watched plays in open-air theaters. Imagine sitting beneath the sky, surrounded by quiet listeners. Actors spoke loudly for the crowd, but the experience was shared, familiar, almost like ritual. For many Romans, theater was a way to escape daily work for a while, a gentle entertainment. Now let us explore Roman soldiers, but not through battle, only through ordinary life. Soldiers were part of the empire, yes, but they were also men living daily routines. They trained, they marched, they wrote letters home. Imagine a soldier sitting quietly at night, far from the city, thinking of family, watching the same moon above. Even those connected to Rome's power had human, ordinary moments. Now let us drift toward Roman trade and faraway goods. Rome was full of objects from distant lands, spices from the east, silk from far places, amber from northern regions. Merchants traveled long roads and seas. Imagine a marketplace stall filled with unfamiliar scents, cinnamon, pepper, sweet resin. These goods made Rome feel connected to the wider world. Now let us explore Roman libraries again, the quiet places of thought. A library in Rome was calm and still. Scrolls lined the walls. Readers sat in silence. Imagine unrolling a scroll slowly, feeling the papyrus beneath your fingers, letting words flow gently into the mind. Learning was slow, patient, peaceful. Now the evening returns once again. The sun sinks behind the hills. The city cools. The streets grow quieter. Families gather. Meals are eaten. Lamps are lit. Rome softens into night. And now imagine the city completely at rest again. The fountains whisper. The stars shine above. The marble temples sleep in shadow. Everything feels softer now. The city is almost completely still. The streets no longer carry crowds. Only the quiet breath of the empire remains. Imagine walking slowly beneath the wide Roman sky. The stars above you steady and distant. The ancient stones beneath you cool and silent. Now, let us explore another gentle part of Roman life. The quiet relationship Romans had with nature. Even in the middle of a great city, nature was never far away. The sky still shifted from light to dark. The seasons still turned. Rain still fell on rooftops. Romans noticed these changes. They lived closely with the earth's rhythm. In spring, flowers bloomed in courtyards. In summer, the heat slowed the day. In autumn, harvest foods filled the markets. In winter, fires burned longer at night. Nature gave Rome its steady pace. Now, let us wander toward Roman countryside villas. Outside the city, wealthy Romans often owned quiet retreats. These villas were surrounded by gardens and fields. Imagine a peaceful house resting among olive trees, birds calling softly in the morning, workers tending vines in silence. Life here was slower than the city, a place for rest, reflection, and gentle routine. Now let us explore Roman ships and the sea. Rome was not only roads and stone, it was also harbors and water. Ships arrived carrying grain, wine, spices, and goods from faraway shores. Imagine a harbor at sunset, waves lapping softly against wooden docks, sailors speaking in quiet voices. The sea connected Rome to distant worlds. Now let us return once more to Roman faith, but in everyday life. Romans carried small beliefs into ordinary moments. A traveler might whisper a prayer before a journey. A mother might offer thanks for food. A farmer might honor the gods of harvest. Faith was not always loud temples. Often it was private and gentle. Now let us drift toward Roman artisans again, because so much of Roman life was handmade. Imagine a candle maker dipping wicks into wax, a shoemaker stitching leather by lamplight, a baker kneading dough early in the morning. These quiet workers shaped the city's comfort. Rome was built on their steady hands. Now, let us explore Roman evenings of storytelling again. When lamps were lit, stories returned. Parents told children legends of the founding of Rome. Old men spoke of memories from their youth. Stories were like soft bridges between generations, and as voices grew quieter, sleep arrived naturally. Now let us imagine the Roman sky at night. Without modern lights, the stars were bright. The moon was clear. Constellations stretched across darkness. Romans often looked upward, wondering, feeling small beneath the heavens. The same sky we see today watched over them too. Now the city grows even quieter. The last lamps begin to dim. Doors are closed. Families rest close together. The forum lies empty. The temples are still. The streets are silent rivers of stone. Only the fountains continue their soft song. The city feels almost weightless now, like a quiet dream resting beneath the stars. The great empire, with all its power, becomes something softer, something ordinary, something human. Now let us explore another calm part of Roman life, the way Romans understood rest, comfort, and quiet moments. Romans worked hard, yes, but they also valued rest, not excitement, not hurry, but calm balance. After long hours in the sun, the evening brought relief. The cooler air was welcomed. The stillness felt like a gift. Imagine someone sitting outside their doorway at dusk, listening to the city settle, feeling peace in the simple passing of time. Now let us wander again into Roman family traditions. Family was the center of Roman life. Homes were filled with generations, children, parents, elders. The family name mattered deeply. The household gods were honored. Meals were shared together. Even in small apartments, family bonds felt strong. Imagine a father teaching a child a simple task, a mother preparing food quietly, an elder telling an old story again, softly and patiently. Now, let us explore Roman celebrations of the home. Romans often marked life's changes with rituals, births, marriages, coming of age. These events were not always grand. Often they were small gatherings, close family, quiet prayers, a shared meal. Life moved forward gently, one stage at a time. Now, let us drift toward Roman work once more. But this time, let us focus on the quieter professions. Imagine a barber trimming hair carefully in a small shop. Imagine a laundress washing cloth in water, hands moving steadily. Imagine a musician playing softly for a small gathering. Not all work was heavy labor. Some work was delicate, simple, almost peaceful. Now, let us explore Roman writing again, and the way memory was preserved. Romans carved words into stone. They wrote letters on papyrus. They kept records of business and family. Imagine an inscription on a wall still visible in the lantern light. A name, a message, a quiet attempt to last beyond one lifetime. Rome was full of these small traces. Now, let us wander toward Roman children once again. Children grew up surrounded by noise and movement, but they also grew up with tradition. They learned respect for gods, respect for family, respect for Rome itself. They played in the streets, they helped in shops, they listened to stories by lamplight, and at night they slept deeply. The city became quiet around them. Now let us drift toward Roman views of the afterlife, not with fear, but with calm reflection. Romans believed the spirits of ancestors remained near. That family continued beyond life. Tombs lined roads outside the city, markers of memory, places of respect. Imagine walking past these stone monuments in silence, names carved carefully, lives remembered softly. The past was always present in Rome. Now the night deepens again. The streets are still. The air is cool. Only distant sounds remain. A fountain flows. A lamp flickers behind a window. A dog shifts quietly in sleep. The city feels like a soft shadow now. The stones are cool, the air is still, and everything seems to move with the slow rhythm of sleep. Now, let us explore another gentle part of Roman life, the way Romans experienced simple daily comforts. Comfort in Rome was not about luxury for most people. It was about small things: a warm loaf of bread, a cool drink of water from the fountain, a familiar voice at the end of the day. Imagine a worker returning home at sunset, tired but calm, sitting down with family, eating slowly, feeling the day fade away. These were the comforts that mattered. Now let us drift toward Roman neighborhoods again. Rome was made of many small communities. Each neighborhood had its own streets, shops, and familiar faces. People bought bread from the same baker each morning. They greeted the same neighbors at the fountain. They passed the same temples on their way through the day. Life was local, repetitive, steady, and that repetition brought peace. Now, let us explore Roman evenings inside the domus once more. In wealthier homes, evenings were calm and slow. Guests might recline in dining rooms. Servants moved quietly through corridors. Fountains trickled in courtyards. Lanterns cast soft light over painted walls. The world outside could be busy, but inside everything felt still. Now let us wander toward Roman public baths again. Not for activity, but for calm. The baths were places of warmth and quiet conversation. Imagine steam rising gently, water reflecting lamplight, people relaxing, letting the day dissolve. The baths were one of Rome's peaceful rituals. Now, let us explore Roman roads again, stretching beyond the city. Rome was connected to the empire through roads, stone paths leading to distant villages, mountains, seas. Travelers walked slowly, merchants carried goods carefully, messengers rode with letters sealed in wax. The roads were steady threads across the land, and yet most Romans remained close to home. Their world was local, familiar, grounded. Now let us drift toward Roman nighttime once again. As darkness settled, oil lamps flickered, families closed their doors, the streets emptied. Night in Rome was not full of noise. It was full of quiet pauses. People listened to water flowing, to distant footsteps, to the soft breathing of those nearby. Now let us think of Roman patience. Life moved slowly. Food took time to cook. Letters took weeks to arrive. Journeys took months. Romans were used to waiting, used to steadiness, used to the slow unfolding of time. This created a calmer world, a world not rushed. Now imagine the city once more beneath the stars. The forum rests silent. The temples stand dark and peaceful. The aqueducts continue carrying water through the night. Somewhere, a final lamp still burns. A final voice murmurs softly, and then stillness returns.
The city now feels almost completely asleep. The streets are empty, the air is cool and soft, and the ancient world rests beneath the wide sky. Imagine walking slowly through this quiet place, hearing only the faint sound of fountains, feeling the peaceful weight of stone and history all around you. Now, let us explore another gentle part of Roman life, the way Romans found meaning in everyday repetition. Daily life in Rome was built on routine, the same streets, the same markets, the same familiar tasks repeated again and again, and in this repetition there was comfort. Imagine a baker waking before sunrise each morning, kneading dough in silence, placing loaves into the oven, feeling the warmth fill the room. Imagine a woman carrying water from the same fountain each day, the jug heavy in her hands, the sound of flowing water always the same. These small, repeated moments were the heart of life. Now, let us wander toward Roman marketplaces once again, not bustling now, but quiet in memory. In the daytime, markets were full of voices, but at night the stalls were closed, wooden shutters rested, baskets were empty. Imagine the marketplace under moonlight, a space that feels completely different without crowds. Even the busiest places became peaceful after dark. Now, let us explore Roman homes again. In the stillness of night, behind closed doors, families slept close together. Oil lamps had been extinguished. Only faint traces of warmth remained. In wealthy houses, courtyards lay open to the sky. Moonlight touched fountains and stone floors. In apartment buildings, families rested in small rooms. Neighbors breathed quietly on the other side of walls. Rome was full of people, but at night all were united in sleep. Now let us drift toward Roman workspaces again. During the day, workshops were alive with activity. Hammers rang softly, clay was shaped, cloth was woven. But now everything is still. Imagine tools resting on tables, dust settling, the silence of finished labor. Work would return with morning, but for now, only rest remains. Now, let us explore Roman light and darkness. Without electric brightness, night was truly dark. Only moonlight and small oil lamps guided people. Imagine the soft glow of a single lamp in a doorway, a small circle of warmth in the wide darkness. Shadows moved gently on stone walls. Night encouraged quiet, encouraged sleep, encouraged peace. Now, let us think of Roman hopes once more. Most Romans lived simple lives. They hoped for enough food, for health, for family safety. They found joy in ordinary things. Bread shared with loved ones, a warm bath, the cool air after sunset. Their dreams were not always of greatness, but of calm stability. Now the city grows even quieter. The streets are empty. The temples rest in darkness. The forum lies still. The city feels wrapped in quiet now, like a deep dream. The air is cool. The streets are empty, and the ancient stones rest beneath the moon. Imagine yourself walking slowly, unhurried, listening to the faint sound of water flowing somewhere nearby. Now let us explore another calm part of Roman life, the way Romans experienced friendship and simple connection. In Rome, life was rarely lived completely alone. People shared streets, markets, bathhouses, and courtyards. Even the poorest neighborhoods were full of familiar faces. Imagine neighbors greeting one another each morning, a quiet smile, a short conversation at the fountain. Friendships were woven into daily routine, not always spoken loudly, but present, steady, comforting. Now let us drift toward Roman evenings once again. Evening was a time when the city slowed. The heat faded, work ended, voices softened, families returned home, friends gathered briefly outside doorways. The smell of cooking fires rose gently into the air. Imagine someone sharing a piece of bread with another. Simple kindness, simple care. Now let us explore Roman gatherings in a peaceful way. Romans sometimes met for small dinners,
not always grand feasts, often simple meals shared among companions. Wine was poured slowly, mixed with water, olives were passed around, conversation moved gently without hurry. In these moments, Rome felt warm and human. Now let us wander toward Roman streets once more at night. Night in Rome carried a special calm. The crowds disappeared. The great buildings stood silent. Imagine walking beneath tall arches. Your footsteps echo softly. A lantern glows faintly in the distance. The city feels vast, yet peaceful. Now let us step quietly into Roman memory and storytelling again. Romans loved to remember, to speak of ancestors, to honor those who came before. Old stories were told again and again like lullabies. The founding of the city, the myths of gods, the quiet pride of tradition. Imagine a grandfather speaking softly to a child, his voice slow, the child listening with sleepy eyes. Now let us explore Roman daily sounds. Rome was not silent in the daytime. It was full of movement, but even noise was familiar. The call of vendors, the splash of fountains, the murmur of crowds. At night these sounds faded, leaving only gentle echoes. Water flowing, a distant footstep, a soft breeze against stone. Now let us drift toward Roman night rest once more. Homes were dark, oil lamps dimmed, families lay close together. Sleep came naturally in the deep darkness. No bright light interrupted, only moon and stars watched above. And so the city sank into peaceful stillness again. The city now feels almost completely still. The streets are empty rivers of stone. The air is cool, soft, and peaceful. Imagine yourself moving slowly through this ancient world, with only the faint sound of fountains guiding the silence. Now let us explore another calm part of Roman life, the way Romans understood simple happiness. For most Romans, happiness was not something grand. It was not riches or power. It was small moments, a warm meal at the end of the day, the laughter of children nearby, the comfort of familiar faces.
Imagine a family sitting together in lamplight, sharing bread, speaking softly, feeling safe in the ordinary rhythm of life. These were the quiet joys that mattered. Now, let us drift toward Roman mornings again. Each morning, Rome awakened slowly, not suddenly, not sharply. The first light touched rooftops. Bakers began their work. Water carriers walked toward fountains. Shopkeepers opened shutters to the street. The city stretched awake like a tired body. Morning was gentle, predictable, steady. Now, let us explore Roman markets one last time in spirit. The markets were the heartbeat of everyday life. Even the simplest goods felt important. Olives, cheese, grain, herbs. Imagine merchants arranging their stalls carefully. The soft clink of coins, the murmur of voices. These exchanges were not only trade, they were connection. Now, let us wander toward Roman roads again. Rome was filled with movement, yet also with stillness. Travelers came and went. Merchants carried goods across distances, but most people stayed close to home. Their lives were rooted in familiar streets, familiar neighbors, familiar routines. Rome was vast, but daily life was small and personal. Now let us drift into Roman twilight once more. As the sun lowered, shadows returned. The air cooled, the city softened, families gathered indoors. Oil lamps flickered gently, voices became quieter. The night returned, as it always did. Now, imagine ancient Rome beneath the stars again. The temples stand silent. The forum rests empty. The fountains continue their endless song. The great empire feels far away. What remains is ordinary life, soft breathing behind closed doors, simple dreams beneath the night sky. Everything feels quieter now, as if the city has fully surrendered to sleep. The streets are empty. The lanterns have dimmed. Only moonlight remains, resting softly on marble and stone. Imagine walking slowly through this stillness, feeling the cool air, hearing only the faint song of water. Now, let us explore another gentle part of Roman life, the way Romans lived with simplicity, even inside greatness. Rome was the heart of an empire, but most Romans were not emperors. They were ordinary people. They woke each day with small tasks. They worked with steady hands. They returned home to simple meals and familiar faces. Imagine a craftsman closing his shop at sunset, his hands tired, but his heart calm. He walks home slowly, through streets that glow softly in evening light. Life was not always easy, but it was steady, and steadiness brought comfort. Now, let us drift toward Roman nights again, inside the home. Homes were quiet places after dark. Oil lamps burned low. Families rested close together. Imagine the soft sound of breathing in a small room, a child asleep beside a parent, an elder resting after a long day. Outside, the city faded into silence. Night was the great equalizer. Rich or poor, all Romans slept beneath the same sky. Now, let us wander gently toward Roman traditions once more. Tradition shaped Roman life deeply. From childhood, people learned customs, how to honor family, how to respect the gods, how to live with dignity. These traditions were passed quietly, generation to generation. Imagine a mother teaching a daughter how to weave cloth. Imagine a father teaching a son the values of duty. Life moved forward like a calm river. Now, let us explore the simple passage of seasons again. Romans felt the year through nature, the warmth of summer, the harvest of autumn, the rains of winter, the bloom of spring. Each season brought new routines, new foods, new rhythms, and through it all, the city remained, steady and enduring. Now, let us drift toward Roman streets one last time tonight. Imagine walking past sleeping shops, past silent temples, past fountains that never stop flowing. The stones beneath your feet are cool. The air is still. The city seems to breathe slowly in the darkness. Somewhere far away, a single lamp still burns, a reminder that life continues even in quiet. The city is quiet now beyond words. The streets are empty. The great buildings stand silent beneath the stars, and everything feels wrapped in calm darkness. Imagine yourself still walking slowly, with no hurry at all, only the soft presence of this ancient world around you. Now, let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life. The way Romans found comfort in togetherness. In Rome, people lived close. Families shared small spaces. Neighbors heard one another through thin walls. Markets brought strangers together every day. Life was communal. Even solitude was rare. And yet, there was comfort in this closeness. Imagine a woman borrowing a bit of oil from a neighbor. Imagine friends meeting at the fountain. Imagine children playing together in a courtyard, their laughter gentle. Rome was a city of many lives woven together. Now, let us drift toward Roman evenings again. Evening was a natural slowing. The sun lowered, the heat faded, work ended. People returned home carrying bread, water, small goods. They ate quietly, they spoke softly, they rested. The city softened like a lullaby. Now, let us wander toward Roman quiet pleasures. Romans enjoyed simple things: a warm bath after labor, fresh fruit in season, cool shade in summer, stories told by lamplight. These were not grand luxuries, but gentle comforts. Imagine sitting in a courtyard with a small breeze, listening to the fountain, feeling peace in the ordinary moment. Now, let us explore Roman patience once more. Life moved slowly, travel was slow, messages were slow, change was slow. Romans were used to waiting, to routine, to the calm unfolding of time. The world did not rush them, and they did not rush the world. Now imagine Rome late at night again. The forum rests empty, the temples stand dark, the streets are silent rivers of stone. Only water continues its endless flow. Homes are closed, families sleep, dreams move quietly through the city. The city feels like it is almost floating now, suspended in silence beneath the stars. The streets are cool, the air is soft, and everything carries the quiet stillness of sleep. Imagine yourself moving gently through this ancient world, hearing only the faint whisper of fountains in the distance. Now, let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life. The way Romans understood home as a place of safety. No matter how busy the city was in daytime, home was where life returned each night. Imagine a small apartment room, a simple fire, bread on a table, family resting close together. Or imagine a larger house with an open courtyard, moonlight falling on mosaic floors, a fountain trickling softly. Different homes, but the same feeling of shelter. At night, doors closed, lamps dimmed, the outside world faded away. Now, let us drift toward Roman daily work again, but softly. Work in Rome shaped the rhythm of life, but it was not always loud or dramatic. Imagine a weaver working patiently at a loom, a potter shaping clay slowly, a baker rising before sunrise, kneading dough in silence. These workers carried Rome forward quietly. Their lives were built on routine, steady and simple. Now, let us wander toward Roman public life once more. Rome was full of public spaces, forums, baths, temples, markets. But what mattered most were the ordinary moments there. A friend greeting a friend, a merchant handing over fruit, a passerby stopping to drink water at a fountain. The empire was vast, but life was made of these small interactions. Now, let us explore Roman evenings under lamplight again. Oil lamps were gentle, flickering lights. They made shadows dance softly on walls. Imagine a family sitting quietly as the lamp burns low. A mother humming, a father speaking softly, children growing sleepy. Night invited rest, night invited silence. Now, let us think of Roman dreams once more. Dreams belong to everyone, rich or poor, young or old. A child dreaming of play, a farmer dreaming of harvest, a traveler dreaming of distant roads. Even in ancient times, sleep was universal. Dreams were gentle. Now, imagine the city completely quiet again. The streets are empty. The temples rest in shadow. The forum lies still. Only fountains continue their endless song. Only stars remain above. The city feels completely at rest now. The streets are silent. The air is cool and still, and the ancient world seems to breathe softly beneath the stars. Imagine walking slowly through this calm darkness, with only the faint sound of water nearby. Now, let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life, the way Romans found steadiness in everyday duties. Daily life in Rome was built from simple responsibilities: work, family, food, faith. Most Romans lived ordinary lives, repeating the same tasks each day. Imagine someone sweeping the floor of a small shop in the morning. Imagine a mother preparing bread for her children. Imagine a farmer tending vines outside the city walls. These duties were not glamorous, but they were the foundation of life, and in repetition there was calm. Now let us drift toward Roman neighborhoods again. Rome was vast, but it was made of small communities. Each neighborhood had its own baker, its own fountain, its own familiar faces. Imagine walking through the same street each day, greeting the same neighbor, hearing the same sounds. Life was steady, predictable, comforting. Now, let us explore Roman evenings again, when the city slowed.
The stones beneath your feet are cool. The air is still. The city seems to breathe slowly in the darkness. Somewhere far away, a single lamp still burns, a reminder that life continues even in quiet. The city is quiet now beyond words. The streets are empty. The great buildings stand silent beneath the stars, and everything feels wrapped in calm darkness. Imagine yourself still walking slowly, with no hurry at all, only the soft presence of this ancient world around you. Now, let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life, the way Romans found comfort in togetherness. In Rome, people lived close, families shared small spaces, neighbors heard one another through thin walls, markets brought strangers together every day. Life was communal. Even solitude was rare, and yet there was comfort in this closeness. Imagine a woman borrowing a bit of oil from a neighbor. Imagine friends meeting at the fountain. Imagine children playing together in a courtyard, their laughter gentle. Rome was a city of many lives woven together. Now, let us drift toward Roman evenings again. Evening was a natural slowing. The sun lowered, the heat faded, work ended. People returned home carrying bread, water, small goods. They ate quietly, they spoke softly, they rested. The city softened like a lullaby. Now, let us wander toward Roman quiet pleasures. Romans enjoyed simple things: a warm bath after labor, fresh fruit in season, cool shade in summer, stories told by lamplight. These were not grand luxuries, but gentle comforts. Imagine sitting in a courtyard with a small breeze, listening to the fountain, feeling peace in the ordinary moment. Now, let us explore Roman patience once more. Life moved slowly, travel was slow, messages were slow, change was slow. Romans were used to waiting, to routine, to the calm unfolding of time. The world did not rush them, and they did not rush the world. Now, imagine Rome, late at night again. The Forum rests empty, the temples stand dark, the streets are silent rivers of stone. Only water continues its endless flow. Homes are closed, families sleep. Dreams move quietly through the city. The city feels like it is almost floating now, suspended in silence beneath the stars. The streets are cool, the air is soft, and everything carries the quiet stillness of sleep. Imagine yourself moving gently through this ancient world, hearing only the faint whisper of fountains in the distance. Now, let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life, the way Romans understood home as a place of safety. No matter how busy the city was in daytime, home was where life returned each night. Imagine a small apartment room, a simple fire, bread on a table, family resting close together. Or imagine a larger house with an open courtyard, moonlight falling on mosaic floors, a fountain trickling softly. Different homes, but the same feeling of shelter. At night, doors closed, lamps dimmed, the outside world faded away. Now, let us drift toward Roman daily work again, but softly. Work in Rome shaped the rhythm of life, but it was not always loud or dramatic. Imagine a weaver working patiently at a loom, a potter shaping clay slowly, a baker rising before sunrise, kneading dough in silence. These workers carried Rome forward quietly. Their lives were built on routine, steady and simple. Now let us wander toward Roman public life once more. Rome was full of public spaces, forums, baths, temples, markets. But what mattered most were the ordinary moments there. A friend greeting a friend, a merchant handing over fruit, a passerby stopping to drink water at a fountain. The empire was vast, but life was made of these small interactions. Now let us explore Roman evenings under lamplight again. Oil lamps were gentle, flickering lights. They made shadows dance softly on walls. Imagine a family sitting quietly as the lamp burns low. A mother humming, a father speaking softly, children growing sleepy. Night invited rest, night invited silence. Now, let us think of Roman dreams once more. Dreams belonged to everyone, rich or poor, young or old. A child dreaming of play, a farmer dreaming of harvest, a traveler dreaming of distant roads. Even in ancient times, sleep was universal. Dreams were gentle. Now, imagine the city completely quiet again. The streets are empty. The temples rest in shadow. The forum lies still. Only fountains continue their endless song. Only stars remain above. The city feels completely at rest now. The streets are silent. The air is cool and still, and the ancient world seems to breathe softly beneath the stars. Imagine walking slowly through this calm darkness, with only the faint sound of water nearby. Now, let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life, the way Romans found steadiness in everyday duties. Daily life in Rome was built from simple responsibilities: work, family, food, faith. Most Romans lived ordinary lives, repeating the same tasks each day. Imagine someone sweeping the floor of a small shop in the morning. Imagine a mother preparing bread for her children. Imagine a farmer tending vines outside the city walls. These duties were not glamorous, but they were the foundation of life. And in repetition, there was calm. Now, let us drift toward Roman neighborhoods again. Rome was vast, but it was made of small communities. Each neighborhood had its own baker, its own fountain, its own familiar faces. Imagine walking through the same street each day, greeting the same neighbor, hearing the same sounds. Life was steady, predictable, comforting. Now, let us explore Roman evenings again, when the city slowed as the sun set, the noise of the day faded, shops closed, markets emptied, families returned home, oil lamps lit softly behind windows, voices lowered, the air cooled, Rome became gentle again. Now let us wander toward Roman traditions one more time. Romans carried traditions carefully. They honored ancestors. They respected customs. They believed in the continuity of family and city. Imagine a small ritual at a home shrine, a quiet offering, a whispered prayer. These moments were woven into life like soft threads. Now let us return to the Roman night once more. The streets are empty rivers of stone. The temples rest in shadow. The fountains continue their endless lullaby. Inside homes, families sleep close together. Dreams move silently through the city. The city feels like a deep dream now. The streets are cool and still. The great buildings stand silent beneath the moon. And everything is wrapped in peaceful quiet. Imagine yourself moving slowly through this ancient world with no hurry, only calm presence. Now, let us explore another soothing part of Roman life, the way Romans lived with quiet acceptance of life's simplicity. For most Romans, life was not filled with grand events. It was filled with ordinary days. They woke, they worked, they ate, they rested, and in that steady rhythm, life found its meaning. Imagine a baker shaping bread each morning, a potter turning clay patiently, a child learning by watching a parent. These were the moments that made Rome real, not the empire's distant power, but the small human routines. Now let us drift toward Roman streets at dawn once more. The first light of morning would always return, softly touching rooftops, warming stone walls. Fountains would still flow, markets would open again, daily life would begin once more. Rome was endless in its rhythm. Now, let us wander gently into Roman rest again. Night was a time of peace. Darkness brought stillness. Families closed their doors. Lamps dimmed low. Imagine a mother whispering to a child. Imagine an elder breathing slowly in sleep. Imagine the whole city settling together. Rome, so full of life by day, became calm by night. Now, let us think once more of the quiet continuity of generations. Thousands lived, thousands worked, thousands dreamed, each life small, yet together forming the vast story of Rome. And each night, the city rested beneath the same sky. Now, imagine ancient Rome completely still, the temples silent, the forum empty, the streets quiet. Only the gentle sound of water remains, flowing endlessly through the sleeping city. The city feels almost like it has disappeared into silence now. The streets are still. The air is cool, and the ancient stones rest quietly beneath the stars. Imagine yourself walking slowly, peacefully, with only the soft whisper of fountains nearby. Now, let us explore another calm part of Roman life. The way Romans lived with quiet gratitude for simple things. Most Romans did not expect luxury. They found comfort in what was familiar: fresh bread, clean water, a safe home, a shared evening meal. Imagine sitting with family after a long day. The lamp flickering gently, the smell of warm grain and olive oil in the air. These small comforts were enough. Now, let us drift toward Roman daily rhythms again. Rome was always moving, yet always returning. Morning brought work. Afternoon brought heat and pause. Evening brought rest. Night brought silence. Each day repeated like a gentle song. Romans lived inside this steady cycle without rush. Now let us wander once more into Roman community life. People depended on each other. Neighbors helped neighbors. Markets connected families. Public baths brought strangers together in quiet routine. Imagine meeting the same faces each day, sharing greetings, sharing space, sharing life.
Rome was vast, but daily life felt close. Now let us step quietly into Roman night again. The darkness is deep now. Only moonlight touches the marble temples. Only faint lamps remain behind windows. Inside, homes, families sleep. Dreams move softly. Breathing is slow and steady. Outside, the fountains continue their endless flow. The city feels wrapped in deep stillness now. The streets are silent, the air is cool and gentle, and everything seems to move at the pace of sleep. Imagine yourself walking slowly beneath the stars, feeling the calm presence of this ancient world around you. Now, let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life. The way Romans accepted the quiet flow of everyday time. Life in Rome was not always about change. For most people, life was about continuity. The same streets each morning, the same markets each week, the same rituals each season. Imagine the comfort of familiarity, knowing what tomorrow would look like, knowing the rhythm of the day. This steadiness brought peace. Now let us drift toward Roman homes once more. Behind closed doors, the city's true heart rested. Families slept close together. Oil lamps were dim. The warmth of the day lingered in stone walls. Whether rich or poor, every household shared the same night, and above them all the same sky watched quietly. Now let us wander gently through Roman silence again. The great forum lies empty. The temples stand still. The streets hold no footsteps now. Only fountains continue their soft song. Water flowing through darkness like a lullaby. Ancient Rome is calm. Ancient Rome is resting. The city feels wrapped in deep stillness now. The streets are silent. The air is cool and gentle, and everything seems to move at the pace of sleep. Imagine yourself walking slowly beneath the stars, feeling the calm presence of this ancient world around you. Now, let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life, the way Romans accepted the quiet flow of everyday time. Life in Rome was not always about change. For most people, life was about continuity. The same streets each morning, the same markets each week, the same rituals each season. Imagine the comfort of familiarity, knowing what tomorrow would look like, knowing the rhythm of the day. This steadiness brought peace. Now let us drift toward Roman homes once more. Behind closed doors, the city's true heart rested. Families slept close together. Oil lamps were dimmed. The warmth of the day lingered in stone walls. Whether rich or poor, every household shared the same night, and above them all, the same sky watched quietly. Now, let us wander gently through Roman silence again. The great forum lies empty. The temples stand still. The streets hold no footsteps now. Only fountains continue their soft song, water flowing through darkness like a lullaby. Ancient Rome is calm. Ancient Rome is resting. The city feels almost completely silent now. The streets are cool beneath the moon. The air is soft, and the ancient world seems to rest in perfect stillness. Imagine yourself walking slowly through this quiet darkness, with only the faint whisper of fountains nearby. Now, let us explore another calm part of Roman life. The way Romans trusted in routine and familiar days. Most Romans lived lives made of simple patterns. Morning work, afternoon pause, evening meals, night rest. Each day returned like the gentle turning of a wheel. Imagine how comforting that must have felt, to know what the day would bring, to live without constant change. Life was steady, life was predictable, life was quiet in its own way. Now let us drift toward Roman streets at dawn once more. Even after the deepest night, the morning always came. Light slowly touched rooftops. The city awakened again. Bakers warmed their ovens. Water carriers returned to fountains. Shopkeepers opened shutters. Rome began again, softly. Now, let let us wander back into Roman evening calm. As the sun lowered each day, the city slowed. Voices softened, markets closed, families returned home. Oil lamps flickered gently behind windows. Night brought peace, night brought rest. Now, imagine ancient Rome completely still again. The temples rest in shadow. The forum lies empty. The streets are silent rivers of stone. Only water continues to flow. Only stars remain above. The city feels like a quiet breath. Now, almost everything is still. The streets rest beneath the moon, and the ancient world seems wrapped in endless calm. Imagine yourself moving slowly through this peaceful darkness, feeling the cool air, hearing only the faint sound of water nearby. Now, let us explore another soothing part of Roman life, the way Romans found peace in simple belonging. Rome was a great city, but for most people it was simply home. Home was not marble temples or grand forums. Home was the familiar street, the nearby fountain, the neighbor's voice, the smell of bread each morning. Imagine how comforting that must have been to live surrounded by familiar rhythms, to belong to a place where life repeated gently. Now, let us drift toward Roman nights again inside the home. Families closed their doors, oil lamps dimmed low, children slept close to parents. The warmth of the day faded slowly from the stones. Outside, the city grew quiet. Inside, breathing became the only sound. Night was peaceful. Night was natural. Now, let us wander gently through Roman silence once more. The great forum lies empty. The temples stand still. The streets carry no footsteps. Only fountains continue their endless song, water flowing softly through darkness. The city feels almost like a soft memory now. The streets are silent. The air is cool and still, and everything rests beneath the quiet stars. Imagine yourself moving slowly, peacefully, with no destination, no hurry, only the calm presence of this ancient world around you. Now, let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life, the way Romans lived with quiet strength in ordinary days. Most Romans were not famous. They were not wealthy. They were simply people living one day at a time. They worked. They cared for family. They shared food. They rested when night arrived. Imagine a potter shaping clay patiently, a farmer tending vines outside the city walls, a mother preparing a simple meal by lamplight. These ordinary lives were the true foundation of Rome. Now let us drift once more into Roman evening calm. As the sun lowered, the city softened. Work ended, markets closed, voices grew quieter, oil lamps flickered inside homes, families gathered close together. Night returned gently, as it always did. Now, imagine ancient Rome fully asleep again. The forum rests empty. The temples stand dark and silent. The streets lie still beneath moonlight. Only fountains continue their endless flowing sound, like a lullaby through stone and time. The city is quiet beyond words now. The streets feel cool and empty. The marble buildings stand still beneath the stars, and everything seems wrapped in endless calm. Imagine yourself walking slowly through this sleeping world, hearing only the soft whisper of fountains nearby. Now let us explore another soothing part of Roman life, the way Romans found comfort in the simple passing of days. For most Romans, life was not filled with sudden change. It was made of steady repetition, morning light, daily work, shared meals, evening rest, night silence. These rhythms returned again and again like gentle waves. Imagine how peaceful that must have felt, to live in a world where time moved slowly,
where each day was familiar, where night always brought quiet. Now let us drift once more toward Roman homes at night. Behind closed doors, families slept close together. Oil lamps were extinguished. Only moonlight entered through small openings. The city breathed softly in sleep. Rich or poor, every household shared the same darkness, the same stars above, the same calm silence. Now let us wander gently through Roman stillness again. The forum lies empty, the temples rest in shadow. The streets carry no footsteps now, only water continues to flow, endlessly, softly, through the heart of the ancient city. The city feels like a quiet dream now. The streets are still, the air is cool, and everything rests beneath the soft light of the moon. Imagine yourself walking slowly through this ancient calm, with only the faint sound of flowing water nearby. Now, let us explore another peaceful part of Roman life, the way Romans lived with calm acceptance of ordinary moments. Most Romans did not expect grand excitement. Their lives were shaped by small routines: a loaf of bread in the morning, work under the sun, a shared meal in the evening, rest beneath the stars. Imagine how comforting it was to live within such steady rhythm, to know the shape of each day, to feel life moving gently forward. Now, let us drift once more toward Roman nights inside quiet homes. Families slept close together. Oil lamps burned low, then faded. Breathing became soft and slow. Outside, the great city rested. The temples stood silent. The forum lay empty. The streets were calm, rivers of stone. Only fountains continued their endless song. Water flowing softly through darkness like a lullaby. The city feels completely at peace now. The streets are empty. The air is cool and still, and everything seems wrapped in quiet rest beneath the stars. And may you drift gently into sleep. Good night.